again. I'm Pastor Dan, and we're doing Spotlight. This is number 2 in a series we're doing on just mission testimonies. And if you've gone with me, you'll know some of this. If you haven't gone, we can't tell them all. I've been to Philippines 30 times, and Tonga, and Malaysia, and Thailand, and Jamaica. So we can't tell them all, but here's a few. The last one I told you was San Francisco. A couple years later, we went to a place, another island up, called Dumaguete City, in the center area of the Philippines. We had a little better hotel. It was clean. It was by the ocean. We could walk it, get exercise along the ocean. It was so hot. Just unbelievable how hot it was. And they got a hall that just had nothing. No air, no fans, no nothing. First thing we had to do, go buy a fan for every other pew. And all the mission leaders fought over those fans when we were done. They all had one in their office because they had nothing. So we had 8 sites that we were building. We had divided our people up in all these sites. There was painting here and building a bathroom here, just helping churches become usable. All over the Philippines, churches are not finished. They just do enough in order to begin to meet, and the money runs out, and that's it. And there's no plaster on the wall, there's no tile on the floor, maybe just some real rickety chairs or pews, primitive. And we just said, what can we do to make these churches representative? At those days, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, you could do a lot for a church. So we began to preach, and people began to come. They had done what they call Habitat for Humanity, with Jimmy Carter. He had been there, brought several thousand Americans, and they had built like almost a whole town, a village. And so they started a whole new church in Habitat for Humanity, and they came to me and said, Pastor Dan, can you help us? Well, they thought $1,000 ended up being about $15,000, but one lady here in La Sierra Church took that on, and she built that church. It's a wonderful place. We've dedicated it, and a great experience. So at the end of those 2 weeks, Sabbath afternoon, we did a tour, and we wanted to celebrate all those 8 churches that were done. So we had a caravan, and we all lined up. I wanted everyone to see what everyone had done. And of course, at each church, there was a dedication, but then there was also mangoes and coconuts and drink. So I tried to figure out, I got to do 1/8 of a meal at every place. It was hard. And it was dark by the time we had finished those 8 sites. But what a day. And we went to the ocean. I've been waiting for a baptism to baptize in the ocean. Pastor Ruben Escalante here at La Sierra and I were there as the 2 ordained pastors. We could join this row of pastors in the ocean. You see these pictures. I had never had it happen. So they lined up all these people in their white robes, and I'm out on the water. No one told me I should have some water shoes. So Ruben and I are out there in our bare feet, and there were rocks all the way there. And I had to baptize in the waves, take these young people through those rocks back to the shore, get the next person, bring them out on those rocks 37 times, I think. And hear this moment of amazing joy. It was really hard. But then you take pictures with people afterwards, and it's just a thrill. Well, during that week, they came to see me in my hotel. They said, Pastor Dan, we'd like to show you something. And I didn't really know what that meant. Now I know what that means. This is going to cost me some money. But they just drove me a little ways from our hotel, and they went to a place where there were some weeds and a little pile of rock and a few cement blocks that had been laid down. And they said, we need a school. We're a brand new mission. They just cut them off from another mission and said, you start a new mission. Gave them $1,000 or whatever. Said, you do the best you can. 12 churches and no school. So I said, how much? Well, I think it was $20,000. I said, how much for one floor? Well, $12,000. I said, well, maybe I'll try that. So I came home, and I began to call everyone I knew, and quite quickly raised the $12,000. I thought, well, okay, let's see if I can do the 20. By God's grace, I got the 20, sent it over, done. A few months later, I got an email. Pastor Dan, the money's run out. We need 6,000 more. Long list of stuff. And I just said to God, I quit. I'm a pastor of a church. I don't know people with so much money. I'm not a fundraiser. I don't know how to do this. Find someone else. And I went to a small group in Loma Linda that morning, a men's group that I'd been a part of. And a guy, a great friend of mine, said, I've got $1,000. Can you use it? Dear God, does this mean you won't let me quit? By that night, I had the $6,000, sent it over there, went and dedicated. On Sunday, all the students came, 60 students in our little school, and amazing dedication. 10 years later, I was doing Week of Prayer on the other end of that island where there was a college called CPAC, and I was having lunch, and 10 kids circled around me, and they said, "You Pastor Dan?" "Yes." "We went to that school. We were the first class at the school that you built. We could not be here unless you did that. We want to sing a song for you." Does that make it worthwhile? All the fundraising, all the work, all the hot. So I just wanted you to know that it's an amazing thing to be a part of, and that God always makes it come out special. This is Spotlight. See you next time. Thank you for watching Spotlight. We're so excited about this. We hope that you'll subscribe, and so you'll get all of them. And please just forward it on to others and tell other people about it. And let's just see what kind of an audience we can